Well, we're awaiting election results out of Washington, D.C. tonight, where the high-stakes Democratic mayoral primary could change the political landscape in our nation's capital. Three-term Mayor Muriel Bowser declined to run for re-election, and frontrunner Janice Lewis-George is looking to become D.C.'s version of Mayor Mamdani in New York. But D.C.'s mail-in voting and ranked choice system mean it could be a while before we know the final result. What's new? Ahead of today's primary, President Trump had this to say about what he may do if the Democratic Socialist becomes mayor.
I wouldn't like it, and maybe we'd take back Washington, run it on the federal basis. We won't put up with it. We're not going to lose our businesses. By the way, Washington now is a safe, beautiful place.
I sat down with Senator John Kennedy and asked him about a D.C. takeover, a possible presidential run in 2028, and much more. Take a listen. It is Election Day, especially here in Washington, D.C. The officials in D.C. have started counting ballots. We'll see if it takes as long as California did, or they're still counting. President Trump has threatened in saying that the federal government should take D.C. back if Democratic Socialist Janice Lewis-George becomes the next mayor. What are your thoughts on that, but more broadly, whether D.C. can govern itself?
Well, there are two main candidates, as best I can tell. One is a normal person, one is a crazy person. I hope the normal person wins, though I believe in democracy, and if the people elect the crazy person, they're entitled to do that, but Congress and the president, the federal government has a certain jurisdiction over D.C., and we're not going to let the crazy person do crazy stuff if the crazy person wins. What
would you say to those who say that D.C. actually deserves statehood and that it's taxation without representation, given this current election and the situation, but what was happening before the president had it cleaned up?
I wouldn't support it. I don't think...
Is it constitutional?
I don't think our founders... No, I wouldn't support it. I don't think our founders intended for the District of Columbia to be a state. They meant for it to be neutral territory, if you will. Now, if they want to go join Maryland and be part of a state, that's up to them. If they want to go join Virginia, that's up to them. But I'm not going to vote to make them a state. I don't think our founders intended that.
Switching gears to another crazy person story, as you just said, the New York Post reported this morning new revelations from the Southern Poverty Law Center fraud case. We know that the Department of Justice has indicted them after a grand jury found that they allegedly defrauded many of their donors, saying that they were fighting hate while they were actually funding it. But making it worse, we're now finding out from this report that a now former top official funneled more than $1 million to her lover in the neo-Nazi National Alliance and helped prop up the organization after it basically had collapsed. So not only do we have this issue of the organization, but now we're seeing that there was some defrauding with love interests involved. Are you following what the SPLC has been doing?
You know, they've lost their way. The center started out doing pretty good work, trying to fight hate in our country, which is something we all support. But then they decided to play top politics. And because of their politics, they decided that all Republicans were hate groups and all Democrats were love groups. And they apparently started, allegedly, as you say, though I think they did it, started paying the people that they hate to do the stuff that they hate so they could talk about hating them.
You spoke recently in New Hampshire.
I did.
2028 is around the corner.
Great New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire.
And why do you love New Hampshire? Do you think it's a place that you would go campaign?
Well, I was up there to help John Sununu, my friend, who's running. He's Senator John Sununu. He used to be in the Senate, and now he's trying to come back. I went up there to support him. That morning, I was asked to come speak to a function. I think it's called Politics and Eggs. And we had a good time, wonderful people, asked me all kind of questions. I tried to
answer. Was one of those questions, are you running for president?
They did. They asked me about the presidential race, and I said, you know, I was honest with them. I said, look, I'm focused on the midterms. I'm planning on running for the United States Senate. But if you're asking me what if a lot of people enter the field, and I think they're goobers, and I think I can do a better job. Would I consider running? And I said, well, sure. I mean, I've had some people talk to me about it. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. But remember that song by the Judds? Why not me? You know, why not me on a rainy day? Why not me to chase your blues away? You know, that's kind of how I look at it. Why not me? But I'm not saying I'll do it.
Well, you said maybe potentially if there are goobers deciding to get in the race, who would that be?
I don't know. I mean, you just goober.
What about Gavin
A
Newsom?
goober is like pornography. You can't define it, but you know a goober when you see it.
Speaking of elections, we're of course barreling towards the midterm elections. You just mentioned you're focused on winning them. Of course, President Trump would like to keep his majority in Washington and not to get impeached for a third time, as House Democrats have said, if they were to take back power. But who do you see as the Democratic leader? Who is in charge of the party nationally?
Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. She's ably assisted by Senator Bernie Sanders, by Mayor Mamdani. They've got a rookie that just joined the team, Graham Plattner. These folks, they're socialists.
Are they socialists or more communists?
No, I think they're more socialist. Communist. I mean, they're democratic socialists. They say they don't believe in revolution. They believe in socialism at the ballot box. I don't hate anybody, and certainly they're entitled to their opinion, but I'm entitled to my opinion. And I think, how can I put this? My advice to them, I think they will ultimately lose, and my advice to them is that their time would be better spent working at Panda Express and trying to work themselves up to management.
You, of course, have introduced us to your elliptical. You've named her Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret.
You've become somewhat of a fitness influencer. Did you think that was going to be in the cards for part of your resume?
They told me to make a video, and I was about to work out. And I said, okay, I want to get my staff off my back. I'll make a video about Margaret. Margaret is named after Margaret Thatcher because both kick butt and take names. Margaret's under my carport. I love Margaret. Like the devil loves sin. I'm on my third Margaret because I keep Margaret under the carport. I buy most of my Margarets off of Facebook Marketplace. Last Margaret I paid $250 for. I love Margaret. Nobody else may like Margaret, but Margaret gives me a good workout in 95-degree heat.
How many Margarets you purchased on Facebook Marketplace?
Three.
Three of them.
Can I say one more thing?
Maybe after this summer, number 4.
Katie, you're the prime minister of cool. I love your show.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. You're welcome anytime. Senator John Kennedy, great to see you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.